Fort Knox to make sure the gold is there.
Are they going to?
You know that we're going to go into Fort Knox. Do you know about that?
Sir,
That was a bad bump.
Are they going to eliminate more national security positions, civilians there?
We'll see what happens. But one of the things we do want to look, I mean, we hope everything's fine with Fort Knox, but we're going to go to Fort Knox, the fabled Fort Knox, to make sure the gold is there.
Where would the gold have gone? Brought up.
If the gold isn't there, we're going to be very upset.
I got to ask you, President Trump's talking about it. Elon Musk's talking about it. Fort Knox. Okay. Lay it out for me. What happens? What if scenario? I've been talking to Senator Mike Lee about this as well. What happens if Elon and Trump open up that vault door at Fort Knox and the place is empty?
Oh, lack of trust in prior governments. Absolutely. That would be the biggest heist that our nation has experienced. You know, in addition to Fort Knox, we should think about there are 4 different locations. There's West Point, Denver, and in New York, part of the Bank of the Fed. So as we're going to audit all the gold, I think it's a great idea to also audit the remaining 3 spots. Mitch McConnell audited Fort Knox back in 2017, and there was this media publicity. There were some gold bars behind him. But I think what we ought to audit is to know what is the total quantity, what is the brand, the purity, and the title. Who owns it? And that's very important. It's one thing that it's there, and it's another thing for who actually owns it. So let's think about 2 scenarios. One scenario, if the gold is there, great. That gives the government the confidence if and when they are thinking about reevaluating gold, at least we have the confidence that it's there. And transparency has been key of what DOGE has been doing, and the fact that, you know, President Trump and Elon Musk have been really looking at every line item. So gold has been a conspiracy theory for the past 50 years that it hasn't been audited. And I think they owe it because the public owns the gold. No, it's not owned by the U.S. government, so to speak. We all own it, and it's important for us to know that it's there.
Well, and that's just it, right? Because this is something, of course, where we're looking at it as everybody thinks this is what's supposed to be backing the U.S. dollar. And so if the U.S. dollar, everyone suddenly finds out, isn't actually backed by the gold reserves at Fort Knox, because perhaps, and there's this theory, I'm going to say it's this theory that's been out there on the internet. I don't particularly subscribe to it, but, you know, I've seen it out there. I see things. And they say that perhaps the gold hasn't already been spent, and it's just the illusion of the gold in Fort Knox that still props up the U.S. dollar. What say you, Alex?
That could be the case, but I think the better question is, why did they rush 6,000 tons of gold? Did they actually give it to other nations? Were they leasing it? Was someone else hypothecating the gold? Or is it time? As we move from globalism to nationalism, we're seeing a lot of countries want to actually own the gold outright, and they want to eliminate the counterparty risk. So it's just a matter of time. We want to make sure that the gold is there. So like I said earlier, if and when we do want to go ahead and reevaluate it, at least to bring it up to market, we know that it's there. The other thing you mentioned, Jack, it's important to note to the public that since 1971, our dollar hasn't been backed by gold. It's been backed by the full faith and the creditworthiness of the government. So if there is a ding to the confidence of our nation in terms of not owning the gold, that's just going to open up a can of worms, and a lot of investors are going to start losing trust, not only in the U.S. dollar, but potentially on the U.S. Treasury bonds, and that's a catastrophe to us.